Hi, my name is Maria Shoemaker, and I'm the fourth grade teacher at St. Thomas More Academy. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce myself and to talk about classical education and what your scholars will be studying this year with me. I earned a bachelor's in English literature from Catholic University. I also earned my master's in secondary education to teach English at Catholic University. I love Catholic education. I went to Catholic school from first grade through grad school. I also am a huge fan of the classical model. I helped establish the Frederick Classical Charter School, which is a K through 8th grade school in Frederick. I also substituted there for 2 years, so I'm very familiar with classical education. I have worked as a special education instructional assistant for Frederick County Public Schools, where I focused on students that were struggling, that had special needs, which I really enjoyed. So, what is classical education? I wanted to talk about that a little because we have some new families in our school. A classical or liberal arts education has been essential to education since ancient times. And the goal of classical education is to liberate the mind from the limitations of any one specialized skill in order to be able to appreciate and converse in any science, art, or theology. So it includes 7 arts, which are grammar, rhetoric, dialectic, arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and logic. These virtues enable a student to have an intellectual discipline and advance in any academic endeavor. So, like I said, St. Thomas More Academy combines the classical education with a Catholic Christian theology for a Catholic classical education. So, this type of education produces better students, citizens, and professionals. So it allows students to think, analyze, and communicate in an effective manner. Since they are immersed in a sophisticated learning environment, each subject is connected, reinforced, and relevant. So the way this works is history is our guiding subject. So from kindergarten through 4th, you would study ancient times to present, and then you would do the same thing from 5th to 8th grade. And the second sweep, you would just go deeper and ask more critical thinking skills as you learn to master the subject. So we want to marry all of the other subjects to history. So for example, if you were studying Egypt in history, then in music, you're going to look at the Egyptian music. What instruments did they play in ancient times in Egypt? What kind of literature did they read? What music did they listen to? So you're going to get a comprehensive view of what happened at that time period and what was the culture like. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a technical problem with my computer. So we follow this style of education to challenge each student to develop his or her heart, mind, and soul. And we want each student to learn to think independently, acquire truth, and make intelligent moral judgments. These are skills that we want them to take beyond St. Thomas More for life. So St. Thomas More offers math, science, language arts, including literature, phonics, spelling, handwriting, and vocabulary, religion, social studies, Latin, music, art, and physical education. We also offer musical instrument violin instruction, and there are other after-school clubs as well. So in math this year, the 4th graders are going to have a math fact practice, which is a daily sheet that has addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division questions on it. And they will learn their facts to automaticity. Always have trouble with that word. And we want them to master their math facts so that they can really say them very quickly and rapidly. They're going to learn to add with money. They will talk about place value. We will make sure that we know how to add with regrouping. We will study number lines and word problems. We will learn to round. We will take a look at shapes, triangles, rectangles, squares, circles, polygons, and tessellations. We'll also take a look at lines, segments, rays, and angles, inverse operations, fractions, rounding, decimals, multiplying two-digit numbers, exponents, and the associative and distributive properties. I do note already that I will have students working at 3 different levels, and that's great. So I have some students that are about 3/4 of the way through 4th grade math curriculum from last year, and I have some students that are about maybe halfway through the 4th grade curriculum, and some that are just starting out with the 4th grade curriculum. And we will all be masters of the 4th grade curriculum, and I think the majority of the class will be doing 5th grade curriculum as well by the end of the year. So I'm very excited about that. In reading, we will start out with personal narratives, which we've already actually written 3 paragraphs that are all personal narratives, and the students have done a great job. I model a paragraph with them in class, and then they are given time to work on one by themselves. And then I have a writer's workshop in which I go through it and talk them through it and make corrections, and then have them rewrite a final copy. So it works great with just 10 students. You can do this so readily, and I love writing, and I hope that your students will learn to love writing as much as I do. The reading program is very rich. It includes history and science. So we will talk about empires in the Middle Ages, poetry, Eureka, which is a unit on inventions, geology, contemporary fiction, American Revolution, and Treasure Island. In history, we will study Maryland all year long. And so that will include natural Maryland, the first people of Maryland, colonial Maryland, Revolution and a New Nation, life in the new state, the Civil War, a new century, 2 world wars and the Great Depression, modern Maryland. We'll take a look at the government, both at the national, state, and local levels, and what it means to be a good citizen. We'll also talk about economics in Maryland. In science, we are going to do a 5th grade physics focus. So we've already talked about what is physics, and your scholars may have mentioned the scientific method. We have this very catchy song that they really enjoy dancing to each day that reiterates for them the important steps in the scientific method, which I want them to memorize. So we're off to a good start. They really enjoy having that break and getting up and moving to the scientific method song. We will talk about force, energy, and work, potential and kinetic energy, motion, energy of atoms and molecules, electrical energy and charge, moving electric charges and heat, magnets and electromagnets, light and sound, and conservation of energy. In religion, we will talk about God is all good, our conscience, God's voice in our hearts, the reality of sin and the necessity of virtue, the 10 Commandments and freedom, living the life of Christ, the Beatitudes, and responding to God's covenant of love. So we have, as you can see, a very rigorous curriculum planned. And I'm very excited because your scholars are very engaged already. They ask lots of questions. They're very respectful, and they are very enthusiastic learners. So I'm super excited to be their teacher this year. I will send home a schedule for you so that you'll know what our schedule looks like, including our specials each week. So I look forward to talking to all of you in the future, and please don't hesitate to email me if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you and take care.